So how do you keep your plan simple? All right. Well, that's a good question. Does anyone want to answer that? Anyone want to start? Just going to let everybody get
I
in
can
here
start.
first. Okay.
I actually went through and on my TOS platform, as well as my TradingView platform, my TradingView platform is pretty clear, just like Jeremy's is. However, TOS, I had a lot of indicators on there. I completely wiped it all out and started a brand new workstation. And I only added 3 moving averages, and that was it. Nothing else.
Very, very cool.
Very clean.
Anyone else?
Same thing with me, actually. I started really very simple. And my first rule was to buy low and sell high. And so I started with the moving averages strategy and kept it simple and then started growing from there.
Cool. I personally, I only trade hammers. It makes it very simple. It makes it very, very, very simple. So I only trade hammers, and some of the things that I teach my students is a trading plan. I break it down into 4 components, which is the commitment part, the setup part, the trade management part, and then the accountability part. And I just keep it very structured. I make my plan so that they're kind of checklist points, and that way I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I keep it simple that way. So anyone else want to add to that?
Ironically, I'm still working on mine, I feel. Constant evolution of trying to make it more simple.
There you go. How about you, Arabia? What do you do to keep your plan simple?
Really just focus on what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at. And like sometimes it takes a good run of time to realize, you know what, I'm not as great at this one thing as I thought I was. So really just like having the tenacity to be able to say like, this is working, this isn't working, and I'm going to adjust, even if it means taking things away or, changing the whole game completely. It really all depends.
Cool. What about you, Xochitl?
I use this and I had to put it away for a little while, and when I went red, I had to bring it back up. But I have it broken down by like strategies. So I have a couple of strategies that I specifically look for. And then I have my rules, my entry, and my target. And then in the back, I just have some other common sense rules for me to remember. So by having this, it's pretty simple, but I can add and delete things as I see fit. But yeah, this is what I use.
That's awesome. I love the color coding.
Yeah, thanks.
I might have to adopt that. It's awesome. All right. So Ian says, I'm new to day trading and have just come aware of the tax implications of selling and buying on the same day. How do you use losses for write-offs, and how do you maximize your gains versus taxes? What are the rules about buying and selling same stock within the same day? Anyone want to tackle that question? Where are you from, Ian? Put that in the chat too. I'm going to tell you that right now, tax stuff is going to be state dependent and country dependent. So the best thing for you to do is to discuss that with your tax accountant. That's what I'm going to suggest that you do. I'm in Canada. The rest of these ladies are in the United States, and we all have different rules, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that will help you. But like I said, you're better off to find a tax professional to help you out with that. Xochitl, what are the kind of pain that you went through, and what advice would you give us to break from them?
So we don't have enough time to go over all of my pain. But before real life trading, I blew up several accounts, probably 3 accounts. And so it was very painful to get the money and then lose it and then get it and lose it. So the short, quick answer is to create a plan, and feel free to message me or anybody, and we can give you like a basic plan. And there's also one on our dashboard that you can use. But start with the plan, and then you can try it on paper trades to see how that goes, or, to test it out if this is something new for you. And then the pain was something that the pain meaning if I break my plan. I never had that. And when I started working with Jeremy, because Jeremy mentored me, and he gave me 2 options. He says, if I break my rules, he says, you either jump off the plane with me or you color your hair blue. And I said, that's a little harsh for the first time I break my plans, isn't it? And he said, no, you've been trading for a while. You don't get to give up cookies. And so the fear of jumping off of a plane is terrifying for me. And I might be a little more willing to color my hair blue now, but I definitely wasn't. So having that type of fear and having a mentor, which I spoke about earlier, that was very important because that helped me to not be so forgiving. And it's like, oh, it's okay if I do this. And oh, it's okay. No, it's not. These are rules, and if they're broken, there's pain. So that's what I would share.
Wow. There you go. Does anyone else have any pain stories they want to share? No?
Well, I've eaten an onion, and I'm going to be eating another one. Jeremy, so slyly off screen, texted me and was like, so when are you eating that second onion? So yes, there will be an onion video coming out. Look for it on Slack on Sunday.
Cool. How about you, Kristen? Unmute yourself.
Well, I was just saying there was a question that just actually pertained to that, and now I'm scrolling trying to keep up with them. You ladies are absolutely inspirational. That's very sweet. Make you a better woman. How do you handle when you have a loss for it not to ruin your day or your week or your month? Oh, wow. That's a hard one because all kinds of interesting words like persistence and perseverance and a knowing that doesn't define you. Your loss doesn't define you, and that you're not going to give up. And so on to the next, and then learning from it. So I learned that from an interview that I listened to a long time ago when someone said, okay, thank you. Okay, what did I learn from that? That's kind of where I've always been with the loss.
Absolutely. I would say that a loss is only defined if you don't learn from it. So if you lose in a trade, that to me is not a loss. And I mentioned this in our podcast last week, but it's not a loss unless you don't learn from it. Otherwise, it's a learning opportunity. And that's number one. Number two for me is to, like I said, have that confidence that you have in your trading plan, follow your rules, expect the fact that the market is going to give you some losers. You can't win them all. And that's just a reality of it. So if you set your plan up and you have confidence in your plan, you know exactly what you're doing. And with every trade, you know that there's a chance that you're going to lose, expect it, and you follow your plan. There should be a pat on the back. Like I said, it's a learning opportunity. This is what you did. You executed your plan. You executed the trade exactly the way that you had it written. The rest of it goes away because you did exactly what you said you were going to do. That's how I handle not letting it wreck my day. So if it's wrecking your day, you're either over leveraged, you're in it too much, or you're panicking because you don't know what you're doing. You're afraid. There's a bunch of emotional, psychological things that step in and prevent you from growing from this, right? Anyone else want to add to that? I think it's a great question.
Yeah, I'll say that when I do lose on a trade, I actually get a little excited. Number one, I have stop losses and risk mitigation, which real life trading and Jeremy taught me. The second thing is I know I'm going to go back and back trade it, and normally back trade it with my back trading buddy. If we can't meet, one-on-one Zoom like we're doing today, I'll do a video and send it to him. And I know that I'm always going to figure out why I took the trade, why I shouldn't have took the trade, or I really stuck with my plan and the trade just didn't work. It was no fault of anything. It just didn't work. I actually, again, I do get sad for a few minutes and then I turn it right around and I'm optimistic because it's a learning opportunity and I'm going to figure out what I did wrong or I did everything right and it just didn't work.
Absolutely. How about you, Arabia? How do you stay mentally strong?
Compartmentalizing, I think, helps a lot. Like, as far as it affecting your week, it's only going to affect your week if you let it affect your day. And then that day rolls into the next day, right? So, like, there's always that one thing that you can't help but be sad when you're doing, right? Like, whether it's, watching crazy cat videos on YouTube, spend 10 minutes doing that. Like, there's no shame in, like, cheering yourself up. And yeah, just do it. Just make yourself happy the slightest little bit, and then you'll sleep better. And then the next day you can attack it again from a different mental space.
Absolutely. What about you, Xochitl?
I would say don't take it personal, because for me, every time I lost, it was going straight to the heart. So don't take it personal. Remember, we talked about the Wonder Woman bracelets. Use that and just ward it off as a loss. And if it's still hurting, then maybe your R is too large. You may want to consider lowering your R so it doesn't hurt that much. But those would be my 3 suggestions.
Absolutely. What about you, Irene?
Well, for me, one of the biggest things for me is I focus on the facts, not the feelings. So if you look at my trading journal, not only does it have my plan, it has, I like data, so I focus on that. So if a trade fails or if it's successful, then I have a notes on the side, not just the history of the trade itself, but I have a notes. Oh, this one, I didn't quite follow my plan. Or this one, I bought a little bit too high because I didn't follow my plan. One of my plans is to actually do my analysis either at the close of the market or just a little bit before. Because for me, my personality, going into the opening or during the trading times is just too much noise for me. So I have in my notes, okay, these ones are not so successful because I got into that trade during the trade. And the most successful trades I have are the ones that I set up actually after market hours. So I focus on the facts, those little things, instead of whether I lose or I win on a trade. I try to focus on the facts just to keep me away from all the mental clutter.
So that brings up a really good point, because a lot of people struggle, because the fact of the matter is we all have the emotional part and the factual part. There's 2 parts of our brain that are working at any given time. And I guess the key is being able to get to a place where you can validate the feelings, but not give them the control. So what do you guys do to get to that state where you can focus on the facts and not allow those emotions, regardless of how they are, to actually take control and take root and then creep in, right? Who wants to start with that one? Hand up.
I'll start with that one.
Perfect.
Super quick. I give myself about 2 minutes to be sad, and then I'm done. And I really do. I'm just sad, and then I'm done. And I move on. I refuse to let something like that get me down. Not happening.
Good for you. Anyone else?
I actually learned that trick not from trading, but from parenting. It's one of the things that I ask about my kids when they're having a tantrum, or if they're mad at me or John because they didn't get what they want. I always ask them, is that a fact or is that a feeling? So when I got into the trading, I have that, in my head, because you got to walk the talk, right? So in trading, that's why I think it's really, really very fitting when Jeremy called this real life trading, because with trading, you got to pull from different aspects of your life to make it work. And that's one of the beauty of it. So yeah, I got that pat down from parenting, not from trading or any financial books.
I love that. I'm going to add that to my trading plan, actually. Is this a fact or is this a feeling? So I'm going to throw that into my trading plan. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. That is so cool. Well, you guys, any other questions? Come on, toss them into the chat here if you guys want to ask anybody anything. That's what we're here for. It's a one-time deal. I don't know if we'll ever get a chance to do this again. Yeah, I'm sure we will. These women are awesome. They're amazing. They're very cool. So let's learn from them right now. Arabia, what got you into trading? Just out of curiosity.
I am like the world's worst employee. Like the worst. I want to come in, I want to do what I need to do, and I feel like once I've done it, I deserve to go home, and nobody wants to employ that person, right? So I had to figure out some way to make myself a boss.
Well, there you go. And how long have you been trading?
About 2 years.
About 2 years? Well, you're
Yep.
just simply amazing. Simply amazing. Robin,
Thank you.
what got you into trading?
Actually, Yvonne Shore, who's here in the room with us, my mother got me into trading. I had a couple mentors early in my life, and it just didn't stick with me. My grandmother taught me about mutual funds, and that didn't stick. And another mentor taught me about Wall Street Journal and looking at all the tickers and reading the articles. That didn't stick. And one day my mom said, "Hey, since you work full time, do you want another stream of income?" And I said, "Of course I do." And my mom is the one who got me into trading options. It's really hard though during the day when you're working. So I would typically swing options. Had some really great success, had some really big losers. I never blew up an account, still haven't blown up an account. I really am focusing right now on the process and not so much on my wins or losses. It's really, what am I doing? The education, because my goal and my why is I want to trade in retirement. Every morning I want to sit by the Gulf and trade in the morning and then go off and do whatever else I'm going to do for the day. So my process is a little bit different. It's really getting down the basics now so I can really enjoy my retirement years.
That's so perfect, because you're one of those rare people that loves your job.
I do. Yes, I am a very rare person that I wake up and I'm so excited to go to work because I love what I do.
Yeah, exactly. That's so cool. Now, Kristen, you are a professional. You're a professional chiropractor. So what in the world gets you into trading?
Well, speaking of that, I think it plays into this question that just literally popped up from Anne. It says, what are your core motivations for trading and the financial success to make a difference? I'm not quite sure what she means by the end of that sentence, but the beginning of it resonated with me, which kind of plays into that, which was so my job is very physical. And again, Robin, I get you. I love my job. Always loved it. Never switched. Always wanted to do this. And about, oh my gosh, it's probably been 6 years now. I was injured and really struggled working through the day. It was bad. They were saying surgery and all kinds of stuff. And anyways, it took me a good year to push through that. But then I realized, oh my gosh, you're halfway through your career, age-wise, timing-wise. What is retirement? Will it exist? And I thought, oh my gosh, you need multiple streams of income. And so that's when I was already getting emails from this other chiropractor who was trading for a living, and he was teaching chiropractors how to trade for a living. And I just got more and more interested and started learning. And that was the motivation for me. And so now the motivation is, I do like where Robin leans towards, get up, trade for a couple hours. Am I placing a trade? I'm learning today, I don't need to place that trade. And so building that nest egg, having that financial security, what is that number? I think I'm still trying to find that number. I always said if I won the lottery, I would still do chiropractic, but I would do it for free. And so in essence, this job isn't really ever going to go away. It's probably just going to change shape, in that the trading and the other things that I am venturing into, again, if I'm not passionate about it, if I'm not happy to do it every day, I'm not going to do it. And so I'm in this transition of creating that next me, which is going to be not just chiropractic and mom and things of that sort. It's going to be chiropractic, trader, and then all these other passions. So I'm a work in progress.
Perfect. Hey, Robin, there's a question in here I'll let you answer, but what's the difference between swing options and options?
Sure, because I work full time, I can't always do day trading options. And swinging options is looking at a chart, looking at it technically, just like we do in real life trading in the afternoon room. It's no different than swinging shares. It's just swinging options. So I can get into an option, let's just say AMD. I had great success last month with an AMD swing. I bought it at what I thought was the very low technically, looked back several days, and swung it into the next week, and it was just a powerhouse. So it's the same as basically swinging shares, it's just with options.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, we have a question from Tracy Blank. New to RLT, finishing beginning course and starting on intermediate. Do you have suggestions on the next few courses I should focus on? Let's start with Xochi. Got any suggestions?
Back trading marathon. That would be the next one that I would suggest you do, because that's going to put what you're learning straight into practice.
Absolutely. Perfect. What about you, Irene? Any suggestions?
Pick one or two strategies and focus on that. And like I said, what worked for me is just a simple rule. It's buy low and sell high. And that's very simple. It doesn't require a lot of indicators. It doesn't require a lot of lines on your chart. It's just looking for trends. And even in channels, actually, you can do it. So stick with one or two strategies and work your way up from there. Keep it simple.
Absolutely. Also, be careful to not overstimulate yourself. New beginners, we have a tendency of wanting to learn really, really, really quickly, and you still need to give yourself time to absorb that information, digest that information, process that information, put that information into practice. So if you've taken the beginner course and you've taken the intermediate course, or you're in the intermediate course, I would highly recommend that you take what you've learned in those courses, and if you don't have them down pat, maybe go through them again, and then again find some of the little things in there and practice those before moving on and overstimulating yourself, because we can get into a position where there's just too much information and you start to get it and then all of a sudden you're completely confused, and that happens to the best of us. It happens to the worst of us. It happens all the time. So just be aware that is it is a condition, and to keep your eyes on that. All right. Otherwise, I like the day trading course as well. I also loved the futures course that was there, but I wouldn't recommend that quite yet unless you are really good with the fundamentals. All right. And Arabia, I think somebody is commenting on you having a cute doggy because he keeps walking behind her. She walks behind.
This dog, I thought I was going to get away with it scot-free, but yeah, he always tries to take the limelight eventually.
Yeah, get him to show us their face. Show us his face.
Come here, buddy.
Come on, say hi. Don't be
Well,
shy.
now he's laying on his back. There he is.
There he is. Hello.
Say hi, buddy.
Beauty. What is his name?
Fox.
Fox. Well, he's cute as a fox.
All right, keep it simple, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Any other questions, you guys? Anything at all?
Hey, I'd like to add to the video suggestions. I loved the summit recordings.
Yes.
And I also highly recommend the Matt's trend following Momo swing. And the Pivot podcast one, I know I'm just rambling on a bunch of them, but the Pivot podcast one that was interviewed, that was really good too. I didn't get to hear the broker one, but those have been good, and they're short and sweet.
There you go. Yes. Subscribe. Okay. We every Thursdays, 4:15 to 4:45 Eastern time. Find us on YouTube. Dan and I are there to answer your questions. So, all right, we have a comment here. Robin, I love swinging options. When are you going to have a mentor group?
My mentor group is Jeremy Alexander Newsom in the afternoon room. He is magnificent. He is my mentor group.
So no plans on you being a mentor then?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, well, there you go. Cool. All right, well, I'm going to go through each of you. Arabia, any words of advice to somebody that is just starting out right now?
My biggest words of advice is just literally never give up. Like, never, ever, ever give up, because your future self is going to thank you. And even if your path to success isn't how you pictured it, you will get there. And there's a lot to learn, so take your time and just do the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How about you, Xochi? Any words of advice?
I keep going back to finding mentors. Be a mentor and find a mentor, because you can find a mentor that's willing to do it for free. Great. If you got to pay out of pocket, great. It's still going to be a fantastic investment for yourself. And the way I see it is when you hire a mentor, is you're not just paying for that one mentor, you're paying them, and they usually are people that invest in themselves. So they're paying mentors. So you're getting the benefit of all of their mentors and you're being mentored. So I would say find somebody, and if you need to start with somebody for free, it doesn't matter. Keep asking until somebody is willing to work with you.
Absolutely. And reach out to Real Life Trading. You'll either end up talking to Kristen or possibly Xochitl. So reach out to us and they'll get you connected somehow. So Irene, any words of advice to some new traders?
Well, apart from one of the things that actually inspired me was from your podcast as well, and that was one of the mind-blowing moments, is when you design your trades to win instead of minimizing your losses. So it's a mindset. How is your plan created? Is it based on fear or is it based on something else? So if you're planning to win, your strategy is going to look very, very different compared to a plan that minimizes your losses. I'm not saying that take a lot of risk, but setting your plans in place so you're playing to win and not take any losses.
Absolutely. Having that balance of defense and offense, that's a really good point. That's perfect. How about you, Kristen? What words of wisdom and advice would you give?
Oh my gosh. A lot of these are really great. I think just kind of going off actually what I spoke about in my slides, I think you really need to figure out who's your tribe. And those close ones, you absolutely need somebody that, if you're going to do this for a living and make a difference, there needs to be some traders or a trader in that. And that could be a mentor or something like that, for sure. That really made a huge difference for me.
What about you, Robin?
I would say ask questions and focus on one process. Get one process down, but ask all the questions you want to. And that's why I think the Slack channel is wonderful. If one of us doesn't get to it, somebody will get to it. And everybody is so supportive in real life trading. It's amazing, but keep asking questions. You're never going to learn if you don't ask questions.
100%. I agree with all of you. I think that everything that you guys are saying is incredible. So I don't even know if I can add to that. You guys have covered just about all of the points, but I completely agree. And just believe in yourself. Know that you can do anything if you truly want to. And understanding what your why is going to help you stay focused and help you stay directed. And give you the motivation that you are going to need in order to invest in yourself. So absolutely. Now, one more thing was being said here. We also have meetup groups. Oh, that was you, Xochitl, that posted that. So perfect. Awesome. What is a Slack channel? Okay, so Suzanne, go to reallifetrading.com. You can register there if you are interested. But Slack, we have a community with traders. So we've got several hundred traders that are in our community, and we have a chat channel which is called Slack, and it allows us to communicate back and forth. So we have a few different programs available with Real Life Trading. We have our free education. We also have our mentor groups that are available. We have our one-on-one training sessions. We also have a day trading room, a swing trading room, or you can do both. And inside of Slack, there's different channels that you can go to, whether it be credit spreads or futures or the women's channel. It doesn't really matter, but it's just a community for like-minded people to get together, support each other, and talk about trading and life. So that's what we are. We are Real Life Trading. The real life part comes first, trading comes second, and that is basically who we are. So check it out, and you can reach out to Real Life Trading. There may be some trials that you can try out, and if not, what we do twice a year, we offer an open house as well. So that is free, and you can access that and check it out for yourself and see if you like it. But it's extremely valuable information. And as far as the mentors are concerned, yes, I also agree that mentors are extremely valuable. You can totally do this, and I've mentioned this in my interview before, that you can totally do this for free without reaching out to a mentor and without belonging to a community. It is completely possible, especially with the education that Real Life Trading offers, but it takes a lot longer. That's my opinion. I wish I had joined a lot earlier, but If you ever listen to my interview, you'll hear a lot about me talking about the lack of trust that I have on the internet and not wanting to be one of those people that got scammed. And it took a long time for me to trust this community. And once I did, I was extremely thrilled and wish it had happened earlier. In fact, I wish I had started when I was 18, 19, but the internet didn't exist then. So I guess I would have had to do little point and figure on a piece of paper. Hey, Irene, paper and pen. Could have done it that way. So anyway, yes, this is recorded. And Suzanne, you're in Alberta. That is so very, very, very cool. All right. Let's see. Are there any other questions here before we shut her down? So yes, this is being recorded. And how do you join the women's Slack channel? If you're in Slack already, you can message any one of us and we'll add you to the channel. So just send us a message in Slack. Otherwise, you have to be a member of RLT to be part of Slack, and in which point you can be added to the women's channel. All right. Send me a message. Okay, you already covered that. So kids trading, when do you recommend starting? Okay, that's a great question. All right. As early as they can read, as far as I'm concerned, you can start teaching them about concepts of money. But you know what? I'm going to give this to Irene first. I'll let her handle that question, and then we can just roundtable this because I think it's a great question.
As early as they want to buy something. So our rule in our house, if somebody wants something, the first question is, have you earned it? And that leads into the question, and well, how can I earn it? And then as soon as they're old enough, or not old enough, but mature enough to understand, oh, this is one way you can earn money, and that's what we're trying to do with our 14-year-old. So our 23-year-old has already opened his account and started doing that with Johnny, and our 14-year-old, we're trying to steer him in that direction. So as early as they can handle it.
Absolutely. Kristen, recommendations?
Tell me again. I was trying to answer somebody on the chat. Sorry.
That's okay. What do you say for getting kids involved? Any age?
Ooh. Yeah, as soon as they're wanting to start use money or ask about it or wanting to pay for stuff or things of that sort. I mean, we're still, that conversation never goes away. It's like, we did it this weekend or on the dinner table, and they're, almost 18 and almost 23. So I guess the earlier you start, maybe they won't keep asking as they get older, but they probably will. I mean, shoot, I'm in my 40s and I'm still trying to figure it out. Because it evolves. The economy and everything evolves. Your jobs evolve. Situations, COVID stuff happens. So, they're learning in a totally different atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Oh, I also wanted to add, because now it seems like, based on our experience with our 14-year-old, it seems like one of the ways that they can actually succeed and have millions of dollars later is to be, a famous YouTuber or a streamer or something like that. And I have told our son numerous times, the chances of you having success at trading and making a lot of money at trading, if you put your mind and effort into it, is a lot more than the chance of you being a millionaire by streaming. So I guess the more we plant those kinds of thoughts to our kids, the better. And I told him, one of the beauties of trading is that your results is up to you, not based on your viewers and how much you're liked or otherwise. It depends on you. And so I think that for the kids, that's a powerful thing for them to understand.
Absolutely. What about you, Robin?
I don't have any kids. I'm just going to say what I've heard Jeremy say before last year in Kids Month is, as long as they know what the blue line is, and show them when the stocks bounce off of the blue line and the line either going up or going down. It's really what everybody else has said, is whenever they're ready and mature enough to handle the information that you're giving them.
What about you, Arabia, Xochi? Do you guys want to chime in on this?
Yeah, I definitely don't have any kids, so I can't really, I don't know. Honestly though, I feel like if it were up to me and my parents were asked this, I would have loved for them to say, like, you know what, this is how you earn your allowance now, like, as opposed to me, folding the towels and getting $10, like, what did that really teach me? Is that I hate laundry. Like, that's the only thing it taught me. So I would have liked for it to be like, okay, you earn your allowance this way instead. I think that would have been cool.
Well, what about you, Xochitl?
Yeah, I also don't have any children, but what I did with my niece and nephew, specifically my nephew, because he does the PlayStation thing, and so I said, hey, what if we buy Sony? Of course, I said we, right? So I bought Sony, and every so often I would let him know what the stock was doing. And then before Christmas, I showed him the phone, and I said, hey, do we have enough to buy a PlayStation this year? And he said, well, we have almost enough to buy 2 of them. So that, and then also when I would take either one of them to school, I'd hand over the phone to them. And I said, okay, these are the stocks I'm in. I need you to watch them. And so I would just, as I'm driving them to school or whichever one I was in the car, that's the one I got my phone in. Their job was to watch the stock. Not that I needed them to micromanage it, right? It's like I've got my targets and my stops, but it got them involved. So instead of them either being on their phone or, I just by exposing them to it and seeing the benefits of trading.
Absolutely. Well, I do have kids, and I'm going to say that you got to start them young. I mean, right from the time when they start asking for the change out of your pocket, they are starting to learn the value of money. They may not be able to add the money together and do certain things, but they're learning the value of money. And I think that is extremely important for them to understand what it takes to earn money and what money can get for you. And so there's all of that. So start as early as you possibly can. And then on top of it, like our 14-year-old, we get him for the last several years. So since he was 11 or 12, he had to put all of his, or half of his, I should say, 50% of anything he made, and that included gifts or allowance or work. Anything that he gets, he puts into his savings account, and he's allowed to spend the other 50% however he wants to. And with that 50%, as he earns or as he saves, every $1,000 that he saves, he pulls out, gives to me, and we invest it in his choice of stock. And that is teaching him that, first of all, how to leverage his money so that it can grow into something bigger instead of just sitting in a savings account. But it gives him an idea of how long it takes to earn that money, so he's got that value for what it does. And that's why I think it's important to have an allowance. I don't believe in paying them for doing their work, but I'm paying them so that they understand that this is what it's taking to earn that money, so they can get that responsibility and understand how to manage it appropriately. So that's my take on it. All right. Well, you guys, this has been fantastic, amazing, simply wonderful. I am so thrilled that all of you are in my life. I am grateful that I know each and every one of you, and I look forward to meeting and getting to know you all better. Thank you, everybody. We had a good turnout today. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Check out the recording, and we love you all. So welcome to Real Life Trading, and we look forward to you in the future. Cheers.
Thank you.